most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as usual, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. Whoa. Which way is he? There he is. And, of course, some of you might see a familiar face. Some of you might see a face that's new to you. Either way, if you're not already subscribed to @CrossoverMMA on YouTube, you definitely should be, folks. So make sure you march over there either right now or post-episode and hit that like, comment, and subscribe button for the young man.
Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, man? I appreciate. Thank you guys for having me on, man. Love coming on, having a chat, breaking down the fights. Let's get into it, boys.
Absolutely, man. We love having you on as well. You're very knowledgeable in the sport of MMA and just a fun dude to talk to. All around good guy, in my opinion. So, while we might be doing shots throughout the episode, this young man will be doing shots of, the good old stuff. Water. You love to see it.
H2O, high quality.
Staying hydrated. And you know what? We appreciate you no matter what you do. You want to do a shot of water, you do a shot of water. You want to do a shot of alcoholic beverage, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So, with that being said, folks, we're here to talk about none other than UFC Tampa. And man, oh man, this is a low-key banger, as the kids would say, right? I'm very excited about this one. I personally think that there's a lot of sleeper fights on here and a lot of really bet-worthy lines on this fight card. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on into it, folks. Women's strawweight bout between Josephine Knudsen and Piera Rodriguez. Crossover. I'm going to let you take the lead, my guy. Do you have a dog in this race? And if so, tell us who it is.
I do not have a dog in this race, but I will say this though, like I've watched a few of Knudsen's fights, and she's an aggressive fighter. Not a lot of finishing ability, but I mean, she comes forward and you can tell like she's the dog. And whenever I see a fighter like that, like they got me, I'm on board if they got that dog in them.
I love it.
Nano, what do you think, brother?
Oh yeah, I'm right in line with crossover here. It's one of those things. Yeah, when you turn on the tape, Josephine Knudsen, I think I like that a little bit better. She's textbook. Really good technique. She's 8-0, so hasn't even sniffed the loss yet. You love to see that as 28-year-old, still young in her career. But I like what she's done since her Dana White Contender Series debut back in 2023. Solid kickboxing skills as well. Really good takedown defense. I think that'll be maybe the difference maker here when she's going up against a tough Piera Rodriguez, another tough Venezuelan, similar to Juliana Pena. Has that wrestling background. Looks tough. I mean, she's tough as nails. She has that edge to her as well. But has some bumps along her UFC career for sure. 3-2 in the UFC. She's on a 2-fight win streak though, so don't let that fool you. It's just one of those things, right? I mean, and I do got to point out with Piera Rodriguez, she does have a DQ. That was her last loss, and it was due to a headbutt. Had to turn on the tape. Man, I'm not biased by any means, but I gotta admit, it did look like she definitely headbutted her a little bit. And she tried to argue, oh no, I was trying to move, but it looked very blatantly like I'm gonna adjust and then I'm gonna, whatcha, give you a little taste there. But Yeah, other than that, I mean, again, she's strong. I mean, she's literally willing to headbutt her opponent. So I love the dog in her as well. She throws with ill intent, a lot of elbows in the clinch. She's got the nastiness to her, Miss Rodriguez. But I'm going with the youth here in Josephine Lindgren Knutson. Nutsound. I don't know. That can be no. I'm just going to leave it there and pass it to MMAnomaly. What are we thinking, brother?
I mean, either way, man, it sounds like I've got a couple nuts on the podcast today, and I'm happy about it. No, I'm actually going to go against the River Tide here, folks. I like Piera Rodriguez in this fight. As Nano was saying, she's got venom in her, bro. The way that she throws those strikes, and I mean, she is willing to do some dirty things in the fight to get the win. Some commentators, not pointing the finger, like to say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? Until they start actually significantly taking points or costing you fights, why the fuck wouldn't you, right? So, with that being said, give me Pieta in this one. She's a plus 215 dog. Last fight card of the year. Nano, I'm going to be a little bit overzealous throughout the show today. I'm not feeling crazy by thinking it's okay to put like a half unit on her. I mean, we're up 11 and a half units from last week. So thank you, NFL.
There you
I
go.
made back all the money I lost on MMA betting. So let's lose it again.
Well, plus 200, or maybe it's a little different on DK, but
plus 215 right now, brother.
Solid.
I'm falling for the trap card.
I mean, there's a narrative, man. There's certainly a path for victory for our girl
Take a
Pieta.
page out of Crossovers book. I don't know if you saw that, but I drank water.
There you go. There you go.
You gotta let the fans know we do that
for
too.
most of the day.
We do that as
the
well.
only time I really don't drink a whole
We
lot of
see
water.
some
Mix
proof.
it in. Mix it in a little water.
Got to mix
That's
it in.
right,
You got to
that's
mix it in. Speaking about mixing it in, I mean, the fight makers and the way they structured this card. Talk about mixing in a fucking banger just 2 fights in, guys. Bantamweight bout between dangerous Davy Grant, and I do mean dangerous Davy Grant here, coming in against Ramon Tavares. Nano, why don't you take the lead in this one and tell us, I know you got a dog in this race. Tell us who it is.
I got a dog, man. I got a dog, and unfortunately, it's not the old dog. It's going to be the young pup here in the opponent facing off against Davy Grant, Ramon Tavares. And there's a few reasons why. Liz, hear me out here. Hear me out here. What I'm looking at on paper is I am looking at the younger guy, someone that's a little bit fresher in his career, but has a good track record, right? Roman Tavares, 30 years old, 10-2, 5 KOs, 3 subs. Do the math. That's 80% of the time he's finishing his opponents. I like what I'm seeing. He's 2-1 since his Dana White Contender Series debut in 23. Savage fights with a savage mentality, and it kind of feels to me it's like that eat or get eaten, right? Dog eat dog mentality, the hunt or the hunter, or the hunted or the hunter. And this strong southpaw represent America. It's hard to go against him, man. He's 8 years younger, like I keep mentioning, against Davy Grant, who, when looking at the odds, it's virtually a pick 'em. And there's a lot of reasons why you like a Davy Grant. He, on paper, or at least the eyeball test, you've seen more of it. I mean, Davy Grant is a freaking OG here, and the fact he's a UFC vet, 11 years in the UFC. I mean, over a decade. You got to give him his flowers. I will do a drink here after I conclude in honor of anyone that's able to have that kind of longevity. 50-50 guy, though, right? 6-6. But let's not say like the record doesn't totally indicate how good or lack thereof Davy Grant is. Dude is still dangerous, like the name suggests, right? He's shared the octagons with some absolute savages, hence the record's not ideal. But at this stage in his career, I don't know how much more he's got in the tank versus someone that's kind of trending upwards, getting better each time, is getting finishes as he's in the UFC. I'll leave it there. I'm leaning, as maybe you couldn't tell, I'm leaning the young buck here, Ramon Tavares. He's come out guns blazing. I hope Davy Grant can weather the storm. If he does, he will probably come out on the greener pastures. But nah, give me the young buck here. Crossover. Am I wrong? Are we in agreement here, or are you on the other side of the fence?
So in this fight, man, I feel like this is going to be very entertaining. I mean, Davy Grant's always in fun fights, never fails, mixes it up on the feet with any and everybody. Doesn't have much wrestling, but for whatever reason, like a lot of his fights end up on the ground, and then he ends up in advantageous positions on guys because his Brazilian jiu-jitsu is so good. And it like we all forget about it, and then next thing you know, they're on the ground and Davy Grant's close to locking up a submission. So, I mean, very dangerous, you know, been in there with absolute killers like Nano said, of course. But he's in there with a different opponent now, guys. He's in there with Father Time now. The man's 38 years old at bantamweight. And, you know, that's not a lot of tread left on those tires, you know. So I'm with Nano here, man. I'm going with the young guy. I'm feeling like there's just a little bit more I want Davy Grant to do well, but I think at some point, you know, Father Time's undefeated.
Well, it sounds like I'm the title of a fucking Godsmack song here. Am I living in the late 90s, early 2000s? Because I stand alone. I'm going Davy Grant here, folks. I mean, call me a crazy guy. But, and I love that you mentioned, Crossover, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that he possesses. And that we oftentimes don't see him, like, have to use, but when he does, we're like, oh shit, he got that. All right, that's a nice sweep from the bottom. How the fuck is he on top now in full guard or half guard, landing these nasty elbows? And not to mention, he's not even a black belt. So, you know, as Islam would say, you know, we got to find who give these guys their black belt. Because I mean, he's only a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Alex Enland, who I don't know about you, but I've actually never heard of. So he's a brown belt over somebody that's not even a huge name in the world. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say that any of us three on the screen right now are casuals by any means. So good on him. Dude has fucking legitimate skills. And that also shows you that there are other people out there, right? We should always keep our eyes open. We need to find out who the hell else Alex Enland has trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because they got them sweeps too, I bet. Now, with that being said, you're not wrong. Right? He is going to be facing a different young man when it comes to Ramon Tavares, coming in at 10-2. The dude is an absolute beast, right? His nickname is the Savage for a reason. He's exactly that. He is a savage. 50% of his wins have come by way of TKO or KO. 30% of them have come by way of submission, and only 20% of them have come by way of decision. The young man can get it done anywhere it goes. In his most recent outing, he went against Sergey Sidi. And I mean, I thought Sidi was going to win that fight, but he simply didn't, right? It was a split decision. I will say it was close, but still, it was a very, very impressive showing for Davy Grant's opponent on Saturday, Ramon Tavares. But I still think Davy should be able to keep him at range with the jab. The way that Davy extends his hands and utilizes every inch of reach that he does have inside of that octagon, I think could prove to be a problem. And granted, Ramon has a 1-inch reach advantage, but I still think Davy uses the reach a little bit better. He's just a little bit more tenured in there, right? And sure, he has more fights, and a lot more of them are losses, right? Compared to what Ramon Tavares has, 2 compared to 7. But something that I learned when I was training a lot heavier back at AKA is you don't really lose in the sport of mixed martial arts. You win or you learn. And to me, that tells me that Davy's done a whole lot of fucking learning, bro. And I think he's going to go out there and he's going to flip the script. He's going to get back into the win column, and he's going to use Ramon Tavares, the up-and-comer, as a bit of a stepping stone here on Saturday.
I like it. Turning back the clock a little bit here, huh? Okay. I see you.
I like
I'm a big fan of that. I'm one of the
man.
old guys, bro.
I know.
I got to go for the old guys.
I dig it.
That's what we do. Oh, man. So with that being said, we're going into a fight that I don't think we'll have to spend a whole lot of time arguing or really talking about at all. We have Miranda Maverick coming in against Jamie Lynn Horth in the women's flyweight division. Obviously, crossover agrees by the glee on that face. If you've ever seen Top Gun, fear the Maverick, right? I think that's probably going to be the situation here on Saturday. I'm going to leave all the meat on the bone because I don't think there's a lot of meat to really nibble on this one, folks. I got Miranda Maverick by some kind of domination. Probably just a bit of a grapple fest in the first round, sap that energy, get a ground and pound finish, or I don't know why I feel like she's going to get the simplest kind of fucking submission on her in the second round, like a key lock or something. I feel like it's going to be the weirdest simple shit, like a Kimura, a key lock. I think it's going to be something with the arm. I don't know. Cross, what you got, man?
So I gotta say, I love the Top Gun reference. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Like Top Gun had me wanting to be a fighter pilot when I was a kid, bro. Like
bro, you and me both.
I love that.
You and me both. And I grew up, I like literally like when I visit my mom, I go to Bossier, and it's like right there by the Barksdale Air Force Base.
Yeah.
So I grew up watching the Blue Angels fly over and stuff. So yeah, man, I love that shit. And now like in San Diego, I live right by the ship where they filmed Top Gun. So I've definitely gone there twice. Bought the shirts. I love it. It's sick as fuck, bro. Top Gun is definitely top 3 movies of all time. And also, can we talk about the fact that it's one of the few times where the sequel might actually be better than the original? Like fucking incredible stuff, man. At least on par.
I mean, definitely good. I think that for me personally, I like the dog fights of the first movie.
Oh, come on.
The storyline of the second one was good because I mean, you get the drama part, and then you get the fun part as well. But I'm fully on board with Top Gun. Huge fan here, so I'm going with Miranda Maverick, probably by decision, but you know.
I like it. I'll take that as well. I'll take that action as well. I'm not going to go against the grain here. The only blemish really, well, a couple blemishes in Miranda's career, lost early on, and she's been in the UFC for a long time. I mean, she's kind of grown up here, started when she was 23. She's now, still in her 20 somethings, but, I lost to Macy Barber early on. I lost to Erin Blanchfield, and then June 10th, 2023, a loss to, our girl, the infamous, I think MMAnomaly knows who I'm talking about here. One of our favorite sound bites of all time.
Yes, David.
That's right. There we go. I just want to sneak that in.
Sorry for the delay.
There we go. Fair enough. We'll accept it. We'll accept it. I know, she's the best.
Gotta love Jasmine.
She's the best, man. So, outside of that, Miranda's a stud. I think she'll find a way to get it done. Jamie Lynn Horth, though, I do got to give her credit. She's tall. She's a big girl. Or Miranda's just really short. But the face-off, I realized, oh, my God, okay, there's a little bit of a discrepancy. But, I'm curious to see how Jamie utilizes that to her advantage. Her only loss,
only a half-inch reach difference, though, I gotta say.
That's the thing. So yeah, it's like
the ape index of Miranda Maverick is like that of like Yoel Romero, bro. It's like fucking insane. Like,
she's gonna get right underneath.
Built like Ninja Turtles, bro.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. Speaking of Ninja Turtles, I had some pizza earlier, but to transition over to the meats and then the potatoes. Because that's exactly what we get from our girl JLH. Meats and potato style. She stays in her box, doesn't really do too much extra stuff. Not the most explosive or athletic fighter out there, but tough as nails. However, I do think Miranda's gonna find a way to get it done. And we're gonna ride. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a Top Gun reference, but we'll get in path as we navigate here. Or
you're not losing that love and feeling.
There we go. That's right.
Not losing that love and feeling. And shout out to all the people in the chat right now. We got the Fight Week show in here, guys. Come on, give it up for them. And make sure you're subscribed to that channel also. We got Lethal Sugar, as always, the homie. Love's up to you, my friend. We got Chris Gray in the house. We got Two Smelly Fingers. Don't we all? We got Hank Hill. If you're a fan of propane and propane accessories, give it up for that, young man.
Let's go.
And you know that we are propane fans, being fans of mixed martial arts. So with that being said, it sounds like we are all staying off the ground and flying in the sky with Miss Miranda Maverick this weekend, folks. And we're not the only ones. Obviously, everyone else has it that way, including Vegas, with her sitting heftily at minus 625.
Sheesh.
I will not be betting on this one, folks. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no juice worth squeezing there. We all know who's going to win, but at the same time, it's you're not going to get a whole lot back unless you bet a whole lot on it. And as we know, the sport's kind of a bit volatile, folks. It's kind of a bit volatile. If you don't believe me, do me a favor, do yourself a favor. Go back and watch Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes. One, right? I had a 7-leg parlay that night, and that was leg 7. I was going to win a whole lot of money.
I was there live.
A lot of money.
Ooh.
And I remember looking at my significant other, guys, and
I saw it live, buddy.
I kid you not. This is how it went. I said, babe, I just hit my 6th out of 7th leg. My 6th out of 7 legs on my 7-leg parlay. And she turns and looks at me and she's like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. What's the 7th leg? And I said, well, it's Amanda Nunes. And she's like, oh my God.
Like, might as well take it to the bank now.
Fucking money.
Yeah. Jeez.
And then 30 or 40 seconds into that fight, when Juliana just lands the weirdest, sloppiest little 1-2 pop, my girl turns and looks at me and she goes, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
Dude, the air left the stadium. That's what I know. That's what I know happened.
This is why this sucks.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was
crazy,
terrible.
Man. It was crazy.
It was a tough one. It was a tough run. But you know what's not a tough run? This next fight at the featherweight division between Miles Johns and Felipe Lima. This one is definitely my low-key like sleeper of the night here, folks. Andrea Miani, I think. Did I say that right? I hope I did. Either way, that's a really fucking cool name. And let's go Brazil in 2025. The Brazilians will have 5 champions. Oh, I like that. I like that call out.
Shama.
Sheesh. We'd love to see that. Shama. Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. Again, this is definitely one of my sleepers. I think it has fireworks written all over it. If I had a gun to my head and I had to pick somebody, I'd probably go Miles El Chapo Johns. I think he's just the more complete fighter. He has extremely underrated grappling, and his stand-up is very, very well polished. This is the young man that has been training and shaping some of the other fighters that we're seeing break through in the UFC, right? So, you know I'm talking about a Garrett Armfield, folks. I just think Miles Johns is really, really coming into his own. Another situation where he's the taller guy, but he also suffers from a 2-inch reach disadvantage in this fight. But again, I do think he's somebody that knows how to close the distance very well. He keeps his hands up in guard when he does that, unless he's really going out there and hip firing. And when he does that, typically means he's in a hell of a fucking flow state. And if that's happening, you know he's landing bombs on Felipe Lima. I don't think this will be a walk in the park for either guy, Miles Johns included. I think it'll be a back and forth bout. But again, I do think Miles Johns is live for a finish in this one, anywhere the fight goes. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Nano. And then once he passes it to Crossover, we'll pour up the first shot of the show here for you folks.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm getting thirsty. No, I appreciate the breakdown. I'm not surprised you're going with Chapo. You know, Miles Johns is certainly a good contender here. Someone we've seen maybe a little bit more often here in the UFC. 30 years old, 15-2 record, 4 KOs, 2 subs. Made his debut back in 2019, the Dana White Contender Series. Since then, 7-2-1. And he fights like he's a spring-loaded toy, is the comment I wrote here. It's like he's very explosive, sometimes even lunges towards his opponents, which I don't necessarily love, but you know, you're going all out. Why not? But he's also accurate, and he lands some lethal punches, man. I mean, he looks strong. He's kind of like it's a little bowling ball, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. And, you know, coming in and even just looking at him like on paper, I felt pretty comfortable leaning Miles John, but then I really looked at this guy, Felipe, okay? And, you know, to shout out Andrea, I am curious to hear who the 5 champions are. Maybe this is Felipe Kid's one of them, but no, you certainly like what you're seeing from this young guy. 26 years young, 13-1 record, 4 KOs, 3 subs. He's a tough kid, man. But this is a big test. So the things that stood out to me on tape, his footwork, his ability to cut angles, get to his spots, get to a favorable position, and he's a decorated fighter. At least like on his regional scene, coming into the UFC, it feels like he really earned his spot. And then as I'm looking on, highlight tapes or what have you, I see him just casually training with Khamzat. And I think that to me was just the icing on the cake, the stamp of approval, signed, sealed, delivered. I figured, okay, if he's able to even just be in the same room with him, iron sharpens iron, he knows what it looks like. And then I love looking at the face-offs as well, and he just has a little edge to him. He's eyeing his opponent down. He's got a little moxie, as I like to say. Oh, here we go. That was quick. I like it. Fantasia. Diego Lopez. Okay, legendary. I like it. Charles. Okay, I'm assuming Charles Olives. Gregory. I'm assuming, is that
Rodriguez.
RoboCop? Rodriguez.
Yep.
Okay.
Gregory Rodriguez.
Poetan. Okay. And Natalia. I like Natalia. Norma Dumont.
So I like Natalia. I like Dumont. I'm not
Diego
Poetan,
potentially.
Obviously,
I'll tell you what,
I think has
Diego
a lot of potential.
If Ilya moves up,
Pantoja,
but then that's not good for Charles.
I think is a staple, bro. Pantoja's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Charlie Olives, I think Islam is a stylistically just a kryptonite matchup for him. I don't think it's good for him. And the rate at which Islam is exponentially continuing to grow and get better is just, for lack of better words, a fucking problem. Like, the worst thing about him is how much better he continues to get. Gregory, he can knock out anybody, so I'm never gonna. I think he
has the lowest probability, in my opinion. Like
Gregory,
bro, middleweight is
it's
loaded,
tough.
dude.
It's
loaded.
tough, dude.
And he's not even. I don't even think he's ranked yet.
I think he's like maybe 15 at best.
Yeah,
and like you said, like middleweight is stacked, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It is so loaded.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I think Poetan is obviously a staple. Natalia Silva is probably the highest probability of someone that's not already a title holder.
What's interesting with Gregory Rodriguez is he's not even the highest rated Brazilian. We got Caio the Natural, sitting in the 7th spot. Maybe that's a little more likely.
Yep.
Caio Borraio.
But still, Caio Borraio.
Bruno Silva's in middleweight as well. That's Brazil.
I think you could literally
Bruno
submit
Ferreira,
any
my
single
bad.
name from Fighting Nerds, and I think that's a viable option. Their respective weight class.
True.
Like even that Mauricio Rufy guy, like he's
Rufy,
not ranked
bro,
right now. But look, brother,
Rufy
like
is the truth, bro.
he's the guy. He's the fucking guy.
Yes.
Like he's the second coming of McGregor.
Mauricio.
Like
Mauricio.
he's there, brother. He's that guy. And let me tell you, like I feel like his style is. For those of you that are not old and haven't watched boxing, you won't get this reference, but he's somewhere between featherweight McGregor and like prime Prince Nassim Hamed. I genuinely just like the way that he moves and turns, the no look, the I don't know, man, just the swagger that he possesses while he's in there doing his fucking thing is something to behold. And with that kind of style, he can be unranked today, beat number 5, like 15 or number 10. And then all of a sudden walk into a title shot the same exact way that Conor McGregor did after beating a number 10 ranked Dennis Seaver. So we've seen crazier things happen, folks. We truly, truly have. There's a lot of potential coming out of Brazil. It feels like a real resurgence for Brazil. So, obrigado to that, man. Let's fucking go. I love it.
Yeah. But I think crossover, what are you thinking, man? Are you feeling the Brazilian hype in Felipe as well, or
are we on the Johns train?
I gotta be honest, man. Like I like the kid Felipe Lima, man. Like he took his last fight, Muhammad Naimov, when he made his UFC debut on short notice. Got a finish in that fight with a beautiful submission, and the kid looks good. I'm gonna be honest, the kid looks good. Still young. We already know, like we're seeing, like he's got skills on the feet and in the grappling. So I'm very interested to see how he looks. I believe in the kid already.
I like
Man.
it. I like it.
You guys are just fucking haters today. I'm telling you. Fuck. Geez Louise, kid. Can't catch a fucking win here.
They're
this
famous
next one,
for
I'll
a
be honest,
reason,
though,
but
I'm torn on. So you might be able to convince me either which way. I'm gonna let you guys go first, and maybe you'll convince me either which way. With that being said, I'm pouring up one. Nano, I don't know if you're ready.
I stay ready and got to get ready, my friend. You know this. Come on.
Sniff in the chat said he's about to eat 2-year-old golden teacher mushrooms. Not sure what's going to happen. Neither am I. But I can imagine it's going to be a wild ride, my friend. So cheers to you. Cheers to everyone else in the chat. And cheers to going on wild rides together with the right people, right? We appreciate you going on this wild ride with us today.
Let's go.
UFC Tampa.
Here we go.
All right. So, with that being said, we have a featherweight bout. Speaking of featherweights, we're staying in that division, right? Sean Woodson, a.k.a. as my significant other's little sister likes to call him, the most oddly shaped human being she's ever seen. And Fernando Padilla. This is another very interesting fight. Sean the Sniper Woodson is someone who definitely has earned the nickname that he possesses. And Fernando Padilla is somebody that I've definitely started to keep my eye on, especially after his last fight. So which one of you guys wants to take the lead on this one? Convince me who's going to win, because I'm on the fence a little bit.
I'll go. So coming in, man, this is definitely an exciting fight. Definitely one I'm very excited for, and I'm torn, to be fair. Sean Woodson, just that massive frame for featherweight, being that tall. But then when you look at the face-off, you realize Padilla is only 1 inch shorter, and I think the reach difference is like 2 inches. So that's probably the smallest differential Woodson's ever had to face at featherweight. Then on top of it, Padilla, very good grappler, 9 submission wins on his record. So, if this fight ends up on the ground, Sean Woodson could be in trouble with those long limbs. Some could definitely be hanging out there, and Padilla could snatch some up pretty quickly. So that's one of the things with those longer limbs, man. Like, the opportunity for you to get caught in something is higher. But I think I'm going to go with Sean Woodson in this one, boys. I think the boxing is just going to be too crisp.
Dude, it is going to be some good boxing. That was really my big takeaway here is it's going to be a boxer's delight. And they both are, I guess, unique. I don't want to say freakish, but certainly unique in terms of their build, their length. And for this division, right, 145, I mean, Sean Woodson's a 6'2", 145, and like MMAnomaly said, he has kind of a interesting kind of configuration. I did notice he actually had a boxing match where he was a little bit more plump, probably in a light heavy or I don't even know, potentially heavyweight. He was looking a little thick. I don't know how he even got his head and neck and cheeks. I mean, everything shrunk somehow. He's all the way down to 145. But the boxing skills have not changed at all. He's very crispy with it for sure. Averaging 5.5 significant strikes per fight. That's what really excites me about this one, right? Because you got this guy, an OG in the division, even though he's only 32 years young. Debuted back in 2019, 7-2-1. This is going to be his third fight this year, which I think is pretty solid. Don't see that too often, getting 3 in a calendar year like that. Beat a Charles Jourdain, beat a Alex Caceres, both notable names in my opinion. But I gave him your flowers, and you may think I'm on the Blues team over here, but I'm crossing over, and I ain't going with him. I'm going with Fernando Padilla. I'm going with the Mexicano. Come on, baby. Representing Chihuahua, a.k.a. Chihuahuas. Let's go. Right on cue. Right on cue. You know the vibes. 27 years young. Dude's got some slick boxing of his own.
That was awesome.
You know what? That was meant to be, baby. It was meant to be. That was again, from Chihuahua. Got him with the Chihuahuas. It felt natural. But he has very high-level boxing as well. Okay? Well, when I say Mexican and I say boxing, you know what the end of that sentence is, okay? We got an absolute warrior on our hands. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath, man. It's anyone's game. And the thing is with Sean Woodson, he uses his length and everything to his advantage, but he's got to do that 6'1" as well. So he's not going to have that same advantage. In fact, I mean, he's still going to have 2 inch reach, so that is still something. But he has a fighter in Fernando that averages 6.5 punches, significant strikes, not just punches, significant strikes landed per minute. All the other fighters we talked about tonight so far average about 3.5. So both of these guys are doubling what we've seen so far, what we typically see from these MMA cats. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I'm taking the young buck, man. I'm taking the young buck. Now we're leaving it over to the gold team here, MMAnomaly. We're 1-1, man. Where are you at on this whole dilemma on this debate?
Look, I mean, I like both these fighters a lot. I think both these guys have paths to victory. Obviously, you both make very, very stellar points. Great breakdown for both of you. Give these fellas a round of applause. With that being said, I think I gotta lean just slightly, even if ever so slightly. I gotta lean towards Sean Woodson. He is the man with a little bit more. Oh man, Nano left the show. Jeez Louise, I upset him that bad. It's tough, guys. It's tough out here. I think he's going to do a shot off the camera. He's that upset. With that being said, now, he's back. We are back. We are so fucking back. I thought you left the show. I thought you were that sad about it.
I'm a little butthurt, but I'll be all right.
It works. It happens. So with that being said, I think Sean Woodson wins because even though he doesn't have more professional mixed martial arts experience as far as total fights, it's crazy that Padilla has 16 wins and 5 losses while only having so little UFC experience thus far, right? While Sean Woodson, I feel like we've been watching him for years already at this point, and he's only 12-1. So, I mean, the guy has so much experience under the bright lights, and I just think that not only does he have 2 inches of reach, I know I said this a couple fights ago, but his ability to utilize the reach is, again, kind of like a featherweight McGregor. The way that he stands, he's a Muay Thai style fighter, but he doesn't stand in a traditional like Muay Thai squared up stance. He does almost more like an elongated karate hybrid stance with Muay Thai. And in the way that he constantly hip thrust and teases and those feints, his ability to feint, oh my God, they're making me salivate over here, man. Seriously, like just watching him as a Muay Thai practitioner, as someone who I've done MMA training, I still do from time to time. Shout out Victory MMA. Muay Thai is my favorite art of the mixed martial arts. And watching this dude fight is just so visually appealing and pleasing as a fan. I think he goes out there and gets it done, but I do think that this will probably be one of the most technical striking fights of the entire fight card, hands down, and possibly of the year, depending on how this plays out and how long it actually lasts. I think both of these guys are very promising and still very young in their careers, even though Sean Woodson is 32. And Fernando Padilla is just an absolute fucking stud at 27 years of age. He's not shying away from getting that, experience in early on in his career. I just hope he doesn't take a lot of damage in the early stages of his career and is able to continue with the longevity. Dixon Cider, shout out to the name. It's a fucking great one. Padilla gonna sub him. Darce, round 2. I mean, that actually wouldn't surprise me. Speaking of, your name being Dixon Cider, got a little fun bad dad joke for you. You ever had sex at an apple orchard? I did once. I came in cider. So.
Okay.
Here
we go.
Came in cider. I'm just kidding.
That's nice.
Oh, bad jokes. Bad jokes that you hear when you're working in the restaurant industry.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, sorry, man. I'm going with Sean Woodson on this one. I am going with, if you actually hadn't heard that one, Dixon Cider, my goodness.
That's part of the
Handshake on
brand.
that one.
That's part of the brand. There you go.
That.
You use
I love
that.
that.
Yeah, you use that one.
Sticky indeed. 2 smelly fingers. Man, the people that are listening to the audio only version of this are going to be just so fucking confused this week on Apple Podcasts. So with that being said, we get back to MMA a little bit for the moment, and we go into the lightweight division, if you journey with us, to a bout between Joel Alvarez and Drakkar Klose. I can't tell you exactly how this fight's going to go, but I can tell you it's going to be a close fight. Get it? Close fight? No? Bad? All right. So
It was all right.
with that being said, I guess I'll go ahead and let Crossover take the lead on this one. Who you have? Alvarez or Klose? And tell us how they get it done. He's so excited about it, he's on mute.
My My bad. My bad. My bad.
I actually was gonna let it keep going for a minute because it was very good. I was like, can I just try and react to what he's saying?
My bad.
So good.
But
we've all done it.
Saying, yeah, of course. But I was just saying, I really like Joel Alvarez, man. I mean, he's massive, 6'3", lightweight. I mean, that in itself is just crazy. The guy's dangerous everywhere, dangerous on the feet. The grappling, very dangerous. I think he's got like 17 subs on his record. So, I mean, this guy is very dangerous, marches forward, makes you fight, like doesn't allow you to get comfortable. It's been in there with Arman Tsarukyan, even though he got finished, but we see how good Arman Tsarukyan is. So we understand what that's about. But I'm going with Joel Alvarez, and I'm going by sub as well in this fight.
No, tagging you in, brother. What you got?
I like it. Yep, I was hoping you were going to go downstream here. Yeah, no, I agree. There's really a lot of great things to say about Joel Alvarez. I mean, the finishing rate, the size. Like, we were just talking about two big guys. This guy's going to be taller than both of them. Obviously, 10 pounds heavier. But, man, 31 years young, 21-3, 4 KOs, 17 submissions. That's a 100% submission rate. And at this level, right, as a 7-1 veteran in the UFC, 7 finishes, 4 KOs, 3 subs. Like, the dude's legit. His boxing, his striking's getting better. That's certainly not, I feel like, the base of his game. Hence why, he's 17 submissions. But he's also going to have 7-inch reach advantage against a Drakkar Klose, who is always a live bet. I mean, I definitely want to at least give him a little bit of credit. Because Drakkar is certainly tough as nails. He's an OG in the game as well. Made his debut 7 years ago, 9-2 record. One of those losses was a loss to Beneil Dariush back in 2020, which was when he was on just an absolute rampage. So, Drakkar is a solid dude, and I'm pretty sure he trains out here in Arizona, or maybe has in the past. He's also on a 4-fight heater. And I'll tell you what, man, if Joel tries to throw up a freaking armbar, he's going for a ride. He's getting slammed. Yeah. He's gonna go for a fucking ride. Yeah. So don't get it twisted. Like, you never know. Okay. Do I think it's gonna happen again? I mean, hopefully not. Probably not. But it can happen. And even if that's like in the subliminal, in the mind there of Joel, maybe that'll make him a little more hesitant. And he doesn't want to make it a slugfest with the Drakkar. So all to say, still leaning Joel, minus 450 favorite. Represent España. I was there this year with the wife. Shout out. That's my spot, man. I'd be down to go back, but that's what I'm thinking. Let us know in the chat how y'all are feeling about this card in general. But MMAnomaly, are we all on the same page here, or are you going to go against the grain?
It's a rarity, my friend. We are actually all on the same page here. And it looks like Dixon Sider is with us, and so is Sav. And, I mean, come on. Shout out Sav in the chat. Always love having you in here. Alvarez by sub seems to be the trending note here. And, Nano, I know you said it's a big-time favorite to bet on Alvarez in general, but you can get him by sub specifically at plus 165 odds here. So 2 units on that will net you 5.3 units back. I think I'm going to have to smash that shit like all you guys in the show right now should probably be smashing that like button, right? So we're going to lock that one in for sure. End of show. 2 units on a plus 165 Alvarez by submission. I mean, again, feels like I might just be falling for the trap. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on into the next one, folks. And of course, I'm talking about a little wrestler versus striker matchup. I mean, in my opinion, it's a bit of a striker versus striker matchup, right? Mr. Potato Head's got good striking. I'm talking about Ataman Azaitar, the dude who had to have potatoes snuck into his hotel room whenever they were fighting at Fight Island. I don't know if you remember the story, but one of his guys stole a press entrance, scaled the side of the hotel building, and then scaled it to get back in through the window. And when confronted about it, he said that what he smuggled in illegally in the bag was potatoes. Those are probably some good fucking potatoes, yeah? So with that being said, I don't know if he's going to have those magic potatoes going into this fight against Michael Johnson. And I can tell you that Michael Johnson, shout out to Crossover for the quote I'm going to use right now, has one of the straightest straight lefts I've ever seen. It is pretty fucking perfect. I love Dustin Poirier. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time, if not my favorite fighter of all time. And he got knocked the fuck out by it. It was disgusting to see. The way that Michael Johnson sets it up is classic. It is like a boxer from like the 1960s. It's just, there's nothing fancy. There's nothing special about it, right? It's just textbook. It's just fundamental. Everything he does, like whenever he throws a jab, it's not this, it's this. Like he's turning it over, his shoulder's protecting himself. Pop, pop. And it's quick. It fires off the shoulders like a fucking piston in a motor. So, I mean, we just love to see it, right? And if Michael Johnson wins, it just makes that win over Dustin Poirier look even better. And it makes Dustin Poirier look even better. So ever since that win, I just want to see Michael Johnson win also. Betting a little bit with the heart here, but to be completely honest, I don't think Ottman Azaitar at 13-2 has much for Michael Johnson. We've seen the man be finished before. I think we'll probably see him get finished again. In fact, every time he's lost, he's been finished. He got brutally fucking knocked out in his last fight. So, leaving what little meat I left on the bone, Nano, what you got, man? And tell us why we'll be feasting on potatoes on Saturday.
Yeah, man, it's just one of those things like Crossover mentioned earlier. You know, Father Time is undefeated. Yeah, I'll certainly be rooting for Michael Johnson. I mean, I do want to give him his credit. He's a walking legend, definitely an OG. 38 years old though, 22-19 record. I mean, definitely the best fighter with that kind of record. Like in terms of winning percentage, I say he's the best by far with like a 50% average. But 14 years in the UFC, absolute legend. 14 and 15 in the UFC octagon. But he's fought like literally everyone. I mean, the menace here, Michael Johnson. I actually have it pulled up. Let's see, what are some big ones? I mean, Tony Ferguson back in 2012. I was in high school. Joe Lauzon. We got
Gaethje.
Beneil Dariush. We got Gaethje. We got Nate Diaz. We got Dustin Poirier. Shout out. I saw there's a fan in the chat there. We got Khabib.
And bro, the Gaethje fight's an all-time war, bro. All-time war.
Legendary.
The Gaethje fight is one of my favorite fights to go back and watch. That was Gaethje's UFC debut.
Yep.
And he was losing that fucking fight.
Oh, the menace was talking shit, dude. He was letting him know. Gaethje's like, all right, and came back. You know, that was kind of Gaethje's like coming out party in a way. Andre Touchy-Philly, Josh Emmett, Clay Guida. I mean, my God. I mean, that's basically everyone that's notable, right?
That Josh Emmett KO, though, boy. Oh, my God.
Sheesh.
My brother. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's tough.
Talk about
man.
something that makes you want to drink. That was a bad one, bro.
Yeah, man. And speaking of bad KOs, man, I mean, Ottman's coming off a couple bad knockouts himself, man. You know, 2 back-to-backs. He lost to Matt Frevola on my birthday a couple years ago. I think I saw that one in Flagstaff. Francisco Prado knocked him out as well back in 23. I haven't seen him since. Just curious, you know, to see what we're going to see from these guys. But I'm going to assume the younger cat here and Ottman's going to find a way to get it done. But Michael Johnson's no slouch. I'm sure it'll go to decision. But it's kind of a little bit of a would have liked to seen it, you know, maybe 5-10 years ago. Kind of a throwback fight. Some OGs here, but it'll be a good one. What are you thinking, MMAnomaly? What do we got?
I mean, I already gave my thoughts. I'm
that's right.
passing it back over, giving the baton to Crossover, the big guy on the right here. How we feeling, brother?
So in this, man, you know, everybody loves Michael Johnson. You know, everybody's fought forever, and like you guys have already said, fought everybody. Ottman Azaitar, I mean, the guy's coming off 2 brutal KOs. And just like I was saying, Michael Johnson, the striking and the hand speed has not gone anywhere. It's still there. And I think as he's gotten a little older, Michael Johnson is starting to show that he does have a little bit of that dog in him. Because I think earlier in his career, when we hit some adversity, like he would wilt a little bit. But here lately, man, like he's been in some dog fights, and I mean, he's had to dig deep. And I personally like that. And I think Zaitar coming off 2 KOs. So I'm going with Michael Johnson here.
Yeah, I'm going Michael Johnson by KO here as well. And to be honest with you, it's one of my small 2-leg parlays that I really like. I haven't decided if I'm going to post it on DraftKings Sportsbooks or if I'm going to do it on Underdogs. I'm going to check and see which ones has a better payout on this one. But I do like Joel Alvarez by submission paired with Michael Johnson by knockout, TKO, or DQ here. Possibly on Underdogs, I can get it for just finish in general, but I do like Johnson for the finish here. I think that left hand is a piston, like I said, and it is sure to land on an opponent like Ataman Zaitar, who, even if he does have knockout power in his own right, when he throws, he does this. Like, if you notice, my head's in the same fucking spot, kid. And when he gets hit, he does a very, very bad thing that most people that have trained in martial arts for a very long time don't do. He puts his head up when he moves back versus tucking in that chin, and that's a bad, bad situation. So, yeah, we love to see it. And shout out Leroy in the chat real quick. He said, can you guys explain No Filters to me? I'll do you one better. I'll explain MMAnomaly and No Filter. So MMAnomaly is a show about mixed martial arts. Anomaly is the part of it that is, we aim to be a little bit different. We aim to keep you a little bit more entertained or talk about random shit that's not necessarily MMA related 100% and go off on little tangents. And again, just be a little bit different than the norm. And No Filter is exactly what you're watching right now. We are live, bro. There is no filter. If I'm cursing, there is no bleep happening here, right? Unless I do it satirically, like I just did there, just for you, my friend Leroy. So I appreciate the question. It's just no filter here. We give our unbridled, no filter, unfiltered fucking takes. And a lot of times I'm betting with my heart, which isn't necessarily the best bet. So as I say every show, if you're following me, if you're tailing these bets, only do it with money you can definitely afford to lose. And with that being said, if you do put a fifth of a unit on this 2-leg parlay, you can net 1.16 units back. Again, that is Joel Alvarez to win by submission and Michael Johnson to win by knockout, TKO, or DQ. Those are the current odds on DraftKings Sportsbooks. The Alvarez submission line is plus 165, and the Michael Johnson knockout, TKO, or DQ line is plus 120. So, again, those paired together, plus 483. Those are pretty fucking juicy odds. For insurance purposes, don't lay chalk on MJ. Dix Insider said, not bad. Not a bad take. He's saying to just take fight ins in DQ. Not a bad play. Not a bad play. Let's see here. I'll have to find the odds for that. Can you tell me the odds for that, Dix Insider, if you don't mind throwing those up? And while you're doing that for us, we'll go ahead and jump right on into the next fight here, folks. And with that being said, it's time for us to get on into the main card.
It's time!
That's right, Bruce. It is time for us to go through, let's see, 1, 2, 3 different canceled bouts. We were originally supposed to have Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas on this fight card, Ian Machado Gary versus Joaquin Buckley on this fight card, and Tracy Cortez versus Miranda Maverick on this fight card. But that's okay. Instead, we're going to go and jump on into the light heavyweight division. We got Navajo Sterling, which just sounds like a superhero name, right? Navajo Sterling. Seriously? That's a great name. Coming in against Tuco Tokos. You got to think the matchmakers were sitting here looking at these guys' names and they're like, well, these guys both have very interesting names. Let's just go ahead and pair these two up. With that being said, battle of the interesting names. Which name is more interesting and which fighter's game is more interesting crossover? Who you got and why?
I really like Navajo Sterling here. Seeing this fight on Dana White Contender Series, he got a brutal first round KO on there. Also, I think he's got like a 3-inch reach advantage. So, the guy's got an 80% finish rate. So I'm all over Navajo Sterling right here.
Nano, where you at, man?
Yeah, I like it. I'm on the same boat. I mean, I think on paper and when you just look at them, I mean, both these guys are still green in their UFC careers. Navajo necessarily doesn't have a ton of experience himself. That Dana White Contender Series knockout, which was absolutely brutal. So you certainly see that, and you like what you see. Our boy, his opponent, excuse me, sorry. His opponent, George, I was trying to attempt his name, Tokos. I guess I'll leave it there. Good record, a little bit of an older opponent. But man, the odds are not favorable for our boy Tuco. Plus 525 for him, minus 900 for a Navajo. Maybe, like you said, the name, but certainly looks like a scary guy as well. I don't have a reason to go against Vegas on this one, so I'm going to lean Navajo. MMAnomaly, do you know something we don't, or did that knockout on the Dana White Contender Series show enough for you to not go against the Navajo? Are you part of the Navajo tribe, I guess? Shout out the Native Americans. How you feeling, brother?
Well, I don't think I have any Navajo in me. I do have Cherokee and Creek in me. But I'll tell you this. What I do have in me is a severe liking for dogs. Look, the man Tuco Tokos has been knocked out twice, right? He has been subbed once. He has lost one decision, and he is coming off of a loss to Umar Sy at a UFC fight night via rear naked choke in just 3 minutes and 43 seconds of round number 1, folks. But before then, he was on a 3-fight win streak technically, but 2 of them coming in the first round in less than 2 minutes, both. So don't get it twisted, man. I really, really like Tuco Tokos in this fight. At plus 550, I got to sprinkle a little bit on this guy. I just think it makes sense to. And I mean, that's money line odds, right? So I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm not throwing a unit. I'm not throwing 2 units on there. I like a fifth of a unit on there. Fifth of a unit will get you 1.3 units back. And again, I think Tokos is live for it. He trains with Brendan Allen and crew, which somebody in here pointed out.
Dixon Cider. Yep.
Dixon Cider, my guy, throwing darts tonight. Sheesh. Get Dixon Cider with the air horns, bro.
Mr. Cider.
Go.
Mr. Cider.
I'm about to pour up a shot for Dixon Cider. Dude, Tuco Tokos. I like it. I like it. He does train with Brendan Allen and crew on what it is. This shoulder over here. I have a pair of UFC gloves. One of them is actually signed by Brendan Allen. Shout out. That man was super dope to meet. And I think that he had a bad night in his most recent fight, but is an absolute monster in that octagon. And I think most people that train with him are fucking incredible. Lane, with a hot take here, got his grandma's life support money on Navajo by KO. Well, I could definitely afford to lose the fifth of a unit, so I hope you win and I lose. For your grandma's sake, my friend. Lazy Bed saying smooth assassin. And another fun Lazy Bed comment said, crossovers up in here looking like Morpheus tonight. Let's go. I mean, we're all living in the Matrix these days. So
I like it.
Fair game. I would just tell you, Lazy Bed, stop trying to hit him and hit him, quoting the Matrix. What else did we say? I know there was another good one up in here. Saying Dixon Cider 8,374,739 times. Yes.
Yes.
Add one to that. Plus one. And I will continue to say it. It's just so fun. It's just so fun to say. I'm
Great name.
It's a great name. It's a great name. And the picture, honestly,
name.
like the picture's fantastic. It's actually kind of perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect. So here we go.
Oh
we are moving forward away from the Navajos and the Tucos of the world and into a bantamweight bout that I think is probably going to be fight of the night. Adrian Yanez coming in against Daniel Marcos. Look, I'll take the lead on this one real quick, and then I'll pass it over to you, Nano. Adrian Yanez is an absolute monster in every facet of the word. The dude is extremely fun to watch. His boxing, his his kicks, his distance shots, like he's good. His grappling negation, he's not a grapple heavy fighter, but his ability to negate grappling is definitely up there as far as levels go, right? And there are levels to this game, as we've heard numerous times before. But I mean, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is the fact that he got pieced the fuck up by the jab of Javi Fanch, right? My guy, Rob Font. Shout out, love that guy. One of the best jabs, if not the best jab in bantamweight, possibly one of the better jabs in all of MMA, Rob Font. And then Jonathan Martinez, I mean, they just keep putting this guy against fucking specialists. They're like, hey, so we want you to fight the guy with the best jab in all of MMA right now. How's that sound? He's like, all right. And then he just gets beat the fuck up by a jab. And then the very next fight, they're like, hey, we're going to take it in a completely different area for you. We know that jab was really tough. So now we're going to give you the guy with the very, very best leg kicks in all of MMA right now. Okay, how does that sound? And he's like, sure, why not? And then his legs got turned into fucking hamburger meat, folks. Like not even like the good, like 93.7, like it was bad quality ground beef. He made it look nasty. And if you've ever been hit in the leg by a strong kick, I have two things to tell you if you have not, okay? Because if you have, you understand what that was like. And every time that happened, you got just a little bit nauseated, right? But if you haven't, when that shin hits you, it feels like a baseball bat, an aluminum baseball bat, all right? None of that wood shit, it sucks. And two, if they're hitting you on the calf and the low part of the leg like that, there's no area in which that swelling can escape. So it feels like your muscle is just expanding and going to freaking explode inside of your leg, and you cannot put any weight on it. It does not feel good. There's no part of it that is good for the equation. And then what happened? Yanez comes off that loss, and they fucking give him to Vinicius Salvador, who looked like a monster in the fight before that. And what did he do? He said, not today, son. Not the fucking day. It took him less than 3 whole minutes for him to go out there and get that finish. TKO, the boxing, the footwork, everything looked crisp. He said, you think that I'm going to be a stepping stone? Not me, bro. Miss me with that fucking bullshit. And so he did. He went out there and got the knockout in just 2 minutes and 47 seconds. And with that being said, I am riding very high on the Adrian Yanez train. I do think Daniel Marcos is a beast. I do think that he has many, many paths to victory. I do think that he has a very similar skill set in many facets of the of mixed martial arts. But he's just not there when it comes to the striking of Yanez. And again, I know that this man has 8 knockouts and 8 decisions, but look at who he's done it against. John Castellaneta, Iori Kilang is not the same guy. I mean, the most impressive win this guy has in his entire names list, his entire resume, is Davey Grant. And that was a split decision that I thought Davey won, with all due respect. So, Nano, walk me off the ledge. Tell me why I'm fucking wrong, or start drinking the fucking Kool-Aid with me, brother.
Well, I do got a shot poured up, so I certainly will drink that Kool-Aid, that adult Kool-Aid with you. But I'm going to leave that job to Crossover, okay? Because I have a feeling he's probably going to go with the favorite in Daniel Marcos. Putting words in his mouth, but I'm going to say to myself here, and I'm going to agree with you in that. I do think Adrian Yanez hopefully finds a way. The reality is, I see why Daniel Marcos is a favorite. Like, I think the thing I want to say with Daniel Marcos, it's like when you watch certain fighters, and just like any sport, like, I mean, football specifically for me, because I do a lot of fantasy football. I played that. And there's certain guys that you watch, like in college football, that you know it's going to translate to the NFL. Same with me even in college basketball. Most things, like, it's pretty obvious. It kind of jumps out at you. And Daniel Marcos is one of those guys. Like, when you turn on the tape and you just put highlights on, you just see what he was doing. It's like, okay, it's a Latin dude that, you know, is gritty, but for whatever reason, like, he puts hands on you and dudes are going down. And he has the sharp skills, and he's slowly getting better and better. And let's call a spade, right? He's 16-0. I mean, there's a lot of things that certainly indicate he's probably going to find a path to victory, but I am a diehard Adrian Yanez fan. I will follow him through thick and thin. They both do have a win over Davey Grant, split decision. So at this point, it's just who's going to be able to dig deeper. And I do think Adrian Yanez's kind of ace, or trump card is going to be his knockout power. The leg kicks as well, but don't get it twisted. Like Daniel Marcus's choice of leg strikes, like the different front kicks and knees and things like that. Like he's really smart. So hopefully Adrian Yanez doesn't fall in any of those traps. But if he does not do that, I do think Adrian Yanez will find a way to win. But we like our underdogs, don't we, around here? There's no filter. We call it how we see it. I don't even look at the odds before I make my picks, really. So I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. I was surprised to see Dan Marcus as a favorite. But crossover. Over to you, my brother. Are you leaning the favorite here, or are we all riding in the same ship? How you feeling?
It sounds like we're all moving in the same direction. I like Adrian Yanez in this fight as well, boys. I do. Just like what both you guys said, man. The boxing is very crisp, but I do think Jonathan Martinez pretty much showed the recipe that really, really gives him trouble, because his stance, and he's so bladed and he's so heavy on that front foot to counter strike and to use his own jab, that the leg is right there for the leg kicks. But then in his last fight, he did a much better job defending the leg kicks. So I definitely like seeing that. And I think the O's going to go. So I'm with Adrian Yanez.
Yeah, and I think something that you said was exactly like 100% on the nail there. The bladed footsteps, like the way that he stands, that changed significantly in his last fight compared to the fight prior. And that's why I mentioned the footwork, right? Like he seemed a lot more light on his feet in this last fight. And not only was he defending with checks and things like that, like learning how to check leg kicks efficiently can be extremely hard, in my opinion. And in the opinion of a lot of people that have trained that. Something that they teach you at AKA is the lazy check, right? Like putting all of your weight down on it. So that way it's like just a battle of whose leg is harder at that point to an extent, and turning your leg in while it's planted. But something that Yanez did other than that, he was doing the planted check a lot, but stepping back out of range, something that we used to see like Silva do whenever somebody would throw a leg kick. Having that elusivity whenever they throw a strike at you versus just defending it the correct way, evading it the correct way. And that's something that I think Yanez has really improved in his last fight. If he continues with that route, I think this should be his fight to go out there and lose. So give me Adrian Yanez, and I mean, give him to me at dog odds, man. 185. I almost want to put a whole unit on this one, if I'm being honest with you guys. I don't think I'm going to do it by knockout because I'm not 100% sure he gets the finish. But I think anywhere this fight goes, he should win this fight. So you can put one unit on him, and that'll net you 2.85. So you're almost tripling down on your money there. Yeah, I'm tempted to fall for that trap, folks. Very tempted. With that being said, we'll go ahead and jump into the next one, which is coming in at a little bit heavier weight here. We've got a light heavyweight bout between Vitor Petrino and Dustin Jacoby. But before we jump into that, I know my co-host here already has one poured up. So, folks, if you drink with us. If you don't, well, then I hope you're having a fantastic Friday either way, and enjoy that sip of water with my guy Crossover there to the right. Either way, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're with us, so thank you. Cheers.
Cheers to the weekend. Let's go. Ooh-wee.
Lethal Sugar said, favorite fight on the card. Yanez puts mother effers to sleep.
That's facts.
Hell yeah, he fucking does. And we love to see that. So, he said, I'm ahead on the drinking. Boys, catch up. The Flying Kitten. We did one before the show started.
Come on. I had a picture at lunch. Come on, quit playing with me.
Let's go. Quit playing with us. Come on now. Vitor Petrino and Dustin Jacoby. Speaking of quit playing with me now, Crossover. Tell me who your dog is in this race, because I'm actually intrigued to hear you boys' picks on this one before I give mine.
So, Dustin Jacoby's pretty much been in there in his kickboxing days with Alex Pereira. So very adept on the feet, However, I think he's like 1-4 in his last 5 fights. That's not a good look. Vitor Petrino is coming off that pretty bad look against Anthony Smith at UFC 301, which the fight IQ in that fight, I don't really know what was going on. So I definitely know he wants to bounce back and get back to his winning ways, especially after she was undefeated going into the Anthony Smith fight. So I'm going with Vitor Petrino in here by KO, guys.
It's hard to argue with that one, right? I mean, MMAnomaly, I'll jump in here real quick, pass it over to you. I'll leave some meat on the bones. But Vitor Petrino's the betting favorite. I mean, you look at the guy, looks like he's built in a lab. I know we have a fan here. I think it's Andrea. Certainly likes the Brazilians. This is another one that has the look of a potential champion, right? Vitor's still only, what is he now?
27, I think.
20. Yeah. 27 years old. That's crazy, right? Not even 30 years old yet. Dude looks like a grown man. I mean, let's be honest. Like that beard and everything, man, that muscle depth, it's going to be a lot. He's a problem. And like his name suggests, he's merciless. Did have that loss earlier this year to Anthony Smith, which definitely hasn't aged well, but I think just, he's a savvy veteran. Those things happen. He got guillotined. What are you going to do? But I don't think Dustin Jacoby is going to find that path to victory against a Vitor. Like Crossover mentioned, 4 losses as of recent, 4 out of his last 5. And, a Dominic Reyes is in there, Alonzo Menafield, a Khalil Roundtree. And Vitor, it's pretty much similar to those guys. He has heavy power. He's going to go out there head hunting. I think he's going to find a way to get it done, probably sooner than later. This is one of those two. I might get a little cocky and say he might find a first or second round finish. I do respect Dustin, but man, Vitor's he's a different animal, man. Talk to me, MMAnomaly. How you feeling? You think it's going to be a landslide, or are we disrespecting the old bull here in Dustin Jacoby?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, I'm disrespecting everybody involved. Look, I'm hedging this one. Folks. I'm playing my money safe here. I think there's one of two ways that this goes. I do like Vitor Petrino. I think he's a beast. I think he has the ability to go out here and get the win. I don't think he has the ability to go out here and get the finish over Dustin Jacoby. I don't think he subs him. I don't think he knocks him out. You guys can try and walk me off the ledge. I'm open to a discussion here. But I think if he wins this fight, he wins it across a decision, right? Whereas Dustin Jacoby only has one path to victory, in my humble opinion, and that's knockout. So you can get that for plus 800 right now. Dustin Jacoby via knockout. And you can get Vitor Petrino by decision for plus 240 right now. I'm thinking, and again, talk me off the ledge if I'm crazy here, boys. You put a half unit on each of those. If Vitor Petrino wins by decision, you net 1.7 units back. So you're already covering your spread plus 0.7. And if you put a half unit on Dustin Jacoby and he wins by knockout, TKO, or decision, DQ, that's 4.5 units back. So you're more than making up the spread. In fact, that's covering the spread for all the bets we've mindlessly made for the rest of the show for the last hour, folks. Nano, what are your thoughts on that hedge?
I mean, it's always good to tamper things, right? It's always good to have a fallback plan. So not a bad idea. I just, man, I'm big on my boy Vitor. Like I was saying, man, I think he might even find a finish. I know we may agree to disagree, but
I don't love that
crossover. I don't know.
Response.
What are you thinking, man? Do you like the hedgeronis? I think I saw some in the chant, but
I definitely like the hedge. I just think Jacoby, for me, would be less likely to find a finish because I think he likes to stay on the outside a bit more, be on the back foot, circle the octagon a little bit. So seeing a finish from Jacoby for me would be tough.
So you like the Vitor Petrino decision though?
Yeah, I like that better than Jacoby getting a finish.
So I'm not taking away the Jacoby getting a finish because I'm a crazy guy. But what I will do, so I cover the spread is I'm going to put a full unit on Vitor Petrino to win by decision, and that nets 3.4 units back. And then again, if Dustin Jacoby gets it done, I simply make 1.1 extra units in the bank account. Again, this is all house money at this point. Thank you again to the NFL. I'm so happy you come around for like half the year, and there's a lot more logic in the betting there. So I only have 2 favorite teams, and I typically have a rule to not bet on them unless they're a heavy favorite. So that's probably why I typically win on NFL versus betting with my heart a lot of times when it comes to mixed martial arts. So we move on into the next one, and I'm definitely going to lock those bets in. No, we're going to do that. We have a flyweight belt. Got a flyweight belt, folks. Manel Kape coming in against Bruno Silva. This fight is just nasty, nasty work, right? I mean, look, real quick before we even jump into this one, Andrea Miani, Americans, stop and drink beer. Make like Brazilians drink acai juice is more health. Look, what I like to say is this, all right? And it's probably the most American thing you'll ever hear someone say, because it's very gluttonous. Can't we do both? Can't we just do both?
It's all about balance, right?
I've got water, right? I've got bourbon. I've got some chaser, and after this, I'm probably gonna have some healthy foods, or maybe not. We'll find out. Either way, I appreciate the comment, my friend. Looks like the general consensus in the chat right now is Manel Kape, or as Dixon Sider, Manel Cope. Which, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but either way, great joke.
I like it.
Oh, we'll go ahead and go to you first. Crossover. What are you thinking, man?
So, Manel Kape's coming off that tough fight where, he had with Muhammad Mokaev losing that decision, and the whole build up to that fight, like, had us all ready for that fight, and then the fight was a total dud. So I know he wants to bounce back. And I mean, if you're looking at the flyweight division, everybody pretty much is only one win away from a title possibility. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if he gets a win here, he might can throw his name in the rings like, hey, like, I'm next for a title fight, even though I think it should be Kai Kara France. But right now, that's how flyweight's looking. So I'm going with Manel Kape.
Are you talking about Don't Blink? Kai Kara France. I love that dude, man. He's fun. He's a fun guy.
Oh yeah, he's a legend. And all these guys are fun fighters. It, like Crossover mentioned, definitely wide open right now. And I do like Bruno Silva. Like, he has some ties with the Full Send boys, which I'm a fan of. Big win over Cody Durden as of recent. But something about Manel, man, he just has that edge to him. I mean, I was just like casually watching his fight against Kai Asakura over in Ryzen. I mean, the dude's he's a fighter through and through. A little brash, maybe a little too brash at times, but that's his thing. That's who he is what it is. But he's going to have a reach advantage. He's going to have a youth advantage. I think he has more tools in the toolbox as well when it comes to the strikes. Bruno's game, though. I mean, I think the longer it goes, the more likely Bruno has to find a path to victory here. But, all things even, I do love my Bulldog, and he's on a 4-fight win streak. He's been doing a lot of good things. But, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm a motherfucking star boy. How you feeling, Nami? What are you thinking?
Man, I'll be honest. Manel Kape for me is kind of like Conor McGregor. And I don't mean that in terms of skill set at all, or kind of where he is in career level. I mean that wholeheartedly in terms of I love to watch him fight for the most part, other than that last fight, which, we won't talk about, right? It's like Voldemort. We don't even mention that shit by name around here. Aside from that fight, he's a really, really fun fighter, very entertaining to watch. And I just can't stand to watch him on the mic. I don't think his mic work is entertaining to me. And I know that he does it for some people. I know he truly does. I'm simply not one of them. I don't like him on the microphone. It's not entertaining to me. I feel like the trash talk needs work. He needs maybe some like lines written down on the hands, do it like middle school style and be like, oh yeah, ba-da-da-da-da, and hit the lines. But as far as the fight goes, I'm with you guys. I'm with Starboy here. I think Manel Kape is the better fighter. He's fought the better competition across his career. He's not only the taller fighter by 1 inch, but he's also the longer and stronger fighter. As Sir Mix-a-Lot said, he's long, he's strong, and he's down to get the friction on. So I think we're going to see that on Saturday night. He's going to go out there. I think the pace is going to be too much for Bruno Silva. I'm sorry, Andrea Miani. I was about to say cover your ears, but hey, we got a Brazilian on our side right now, folks. I mean, like color me stunned, if I'm being honest here. Don't worry, we won't tell. Now, with that being said, again, give me Manel Kape. I really, really like this guy. I think he is an absolute beast. And I think that this realistically, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it should pole vault him into title contention status. I mean, if he goes out here and does something like different than what he did in his last fight, right? Like, he's got to go out here and not fight scared, not fight boring, fight the way that we're used to seeing him fight. Relentless pressure, relentless pace, move forward. Don't fear the takedowns. Don't fear the onslaught of whatever's coming towards you and implement your game. Ultimately lead the dance. That's when Manel Kape is doing his best, when he's pushing forward. So I think that's his biggest path to victory. Just lead the dance and strong arm Bruno Silva into a loss. But I will agree, like, I don't know that I'm willing to bet on this one. I'm not going to take him by decision because it'll be the one time my luck that he gets a fucking finish. And I'm damn sure not betting him by finish because, like, if you bet him by KO, it's like Dixon Sider said. I'm going to say it again, Saf. Chalk it up. It's like betting RoboCop by sub. It's kind of ridiculous. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and he hasn't gone to... I know it. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Because he's decorated.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
She put that curse on me.
God damn.
This is one of those things. Like, I mean, he has 11 KOs. He has 5 submissions.
Am I going to sprinkle on that now? Will Manel Kape by knockout?
That's all he needed to hear.
Fucking crossover. Crossover's like, how can I make this motherfucker lose some money right now?
Don't do it, brother. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nah, I mean, Bruno's...
You're like Dewey Cox. All the temptations.
Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. Both these guys, like, you know, Starboy hasn't gone to knockout since 2021. Bruno hasn't been knocked out since 2016. It'd be tough to see, man. It'd be tough to see.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
I mean, the odds aren't even juicy enough for it. It's plus 225. I'm not doing it.
Nah. Not enough.
I'm not doing it. I agree with Dixon Sider here. Manel will be hesitant, guaranteed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Bruno, former training partner of Henry Cejudo. The threat of the takedown is always live for 15 minutes. I completely agree with you there. Bruno definitely will threaten the takedown, but again, that's why Manel has to lead this fight because Bruno doesn't do really well on the back foot, like most fighters, but Bruno definitely doesn't do well on the back foot because he does have more of a wrestler-heavy style. And if you're not able to shoot, you're not able to really initiate the takedown threat. And that's a bad problem when you're going against someone as strong for this lighter division as Manel Kape, in my opinion. Any more thoughts on that one, boys, before we move into the co-main event of the evening?
Let's go.
It's fun, man. That's gonna be a fun fight. Potential fight of the night.
Well, with that one being said, folks, we have a bit of a legend coming in here. I mean, this feels like a tough fight to watch as a fan. We got Cub Swanson coming in against Billy the Squid Quarantillo, folks. Lane said cheers. Are you telling us to pour up another shot? Is that an excuse? We'll do it.
You know the vibes.
Tempt us with a good time. We'll do it.
I got the beer right here at that low time.
So look, brother, Cub Swanson versus Billy Q. I like both these fighters, which makes it even tougher because Cub is a legend in every single facet of the fucking word. Ay. Cross, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one as well. Tell us who you have in this one. Do you have a dog in this one, a betting favorite, if you will?
I do not have a dog in this fight. Do not, man. Because just like you said, Cub Swanson's an absolute legend. Been in there with other killers and, you know, just is always in fun fights. I think the matchmaking is very good in this fight. You got Cub Swanson comes out here, throws these kind of crazy strikes, very wild, and gets into firefights. And then Billy Q's just an absolute dog, and it's just all about pressure and pace and volume. So I think that combination is definitely going to lead to a very entertaining fight. You know, a gentleman's good fight right here is what I'm expecting. But I think Billy Q's going to wear down Cub, and then Cub's going to start to slow down, like after about 2.5, and then Billy Q and that pace is just gonna do it for me. I'm going with Billy Q by decision.
By decision's bold, man. Oh, Dick's Insider's got Billy Q sub in the parlay.
Oh, dang.
He said tiny sprinkle on Billy Q guillotine, specifically on MGM because Cub loves getting subbed, and I watched Max Holloway guillotine him live in person in Newark. Oh, that's
Let's
sick.
go.
That's sick. I was just saying in the chat, Hall of Famer Lazy Bet said Hall of Famer Cub Swanson. Fun fact, me and Nano were there at the Hall of Fame ceremony. Super fucking dope time. Hope to see crossover there next year with us sitting right there in the same spot. It was a good fucking time. For this legendary fight, I did pour one up. This will probably be the last one because, I mean, as much as I enjoy Joaquin Buckley, I'm not going to do a shot for that guy. And as much as I
Kobe
don't
Covington?
enjoy Kobe Covington, I'm not going to do a shot for that guy. I'm just. No,
I like it. I like it.
So last one of the evening, folks. Again, you could be anywhere in the world. Hour and 25 minutes in, and you're right fucking here, folks. Whether you're tuning in on the Crossover MMA channel or you're tuning in on the MMAnomaly channel, we appreciate you for tuning in, and we hope that you're having a great time and an even better weekend after this, folks. Cheers to you. Cheers to the fights, and cheers to everything that you do.
Salud. Here we go. This is a fun one though, but I think this is kind of more of an even matchup. Like it's kind of the right sweet spot of what I'd want to see. Cub Swanson's always game. 41 years old though, certainly pushing it. But like Andrea mentioned here in the chat, Jama, Billy will find a way to win by flying knee like Jose Aldo. Okay, I like it. I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I would say something like a flying knee would have to be the thing to maybe put out the lights of a Cub Swanson, because he's going to go out there and lay everything on the line. He's fought the who's. I mean, the interesting thing is, and hey, the records are certainly not pretty, but that's kind of for both these guys. Since 2020, I was looking, I mean, both of them have been win, loss, back and forth like that, respectively and consecutively. Someone's got to break that streak here. I mean, Cub Swanson did look good in his last fight against Andre Touchy-Feely back in June. I believe we were in the proximity. We were, if MMAnomaly recollects, we did see a little Touchy-Feely getting touchy-feely with his lady, and whole buddy bruised up and battered and everything. Told him, thanks for putting on a good fight. Appreciate you. He said, thanks, man. Kept on. But just want to say that real quick because that was a fun time.
And then I saw Irene Aldana and the entire Diego Lopez fight team in line at Secret Pizza the third floor in the Cosmopolitan. If you haven't been there in Vegas, it's not listed anywhere. There's no signage for it. But if you go to the third floor in Cosmopolitan Hotel, there is a place. Again, there's not a single sign. It's just a literal hole in the wall. And if you start walking down the hallway and you see records wall to wall all around you, you found the right place. Keep on walking, my friend. You'll find probably the best pizza in Vegas. Shout out Secret Pizza. It's not a fucking secret anymore, people. So, Nano, continue with the story.
Secret's out, man. Yeah, no, that was absolutely it. You painted the perfect picture. And I think if that doesn't motivate y'all to try to go out there to Vegas for International Fight Week, even if it's not to try to do all the events or go see the fight, just be in the proximity. You might stumble across one of your favorite fighters. And yeah, like Miss Mary says, I try to shush him, Miss Mary. I tried to do it, but it's the best not so kept secret, unfortunately. Highly recommend a good Zaw. But yeah, man, I think all to say, this is probably going to be a firefight, and if all things are equal, Billy Q is probably going to have a little bit more fire in this said firefight. So, give me Billy Q, the Ben fave. But talk to me, I may not only bring us home, man. What are you thinking? He can't bet against Billy Q. Come on, man.
I'm not betting against Billy Q. I'm actually going to follow the lead of our guy here, Dick's Insider. Shout out to the name. Bit of a money name there.
That's a good person to follow.
I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit here, and he's truly gonna hate this. I just know that he is going to hate everything about this. So I'm following him to an extent, but I'm also going against what he told me to do to an extent. So he has a submission parlay going that he talked to us about. But I also really, really like something he told me to not bet, which is Michael Johnson by TKO. So I'm going to follow his submission parlay. I'm going to do the Billy Q on there, but I'm also going to do Michael Johnson by TKO. So I'm going to add that. So Dixon, if you could just type out in the chat, what is your full submission parlay? So I can tail that and add Michael Johnson for a little bit extra cheddar on that. I like Billy Q. We've seen Cub get subbed before. And not only that, but we've seen a panic tap when he got subbed in the past, right? I'm sure you guys all remember that standing guillotine. Nasty stuff. And it was so fast. But, you know, we've seen situations like that before with equally as tough fighters. So, man, it's tough. It's tough. Because I really like Cub. Cubby's the guy. Shout out Ian Juice Miller. If you like amateur fights, nope, just kidding. He's a fucking pro now, folks. He's one of the best fighters you've probably never heard of. Ian Juice Miller. Check him out. He's got an upcoming fight here soon, and he is one of the homies. He trains with Cub. Cub was his manager. So it's tough to bet against this guy. I think it'll be a competitive match, but I do think Billy Q has far more paths to victory here. And again, just looking simply at the age, it's 36-41. Like, Cub is not a young buck by any means, but he's also not quite 40 yet. And that does make a significant difference in the world of mixed martial arts. So I really, truly do like Billy Q. It's almost identical. Like, if Mike Goldberg was announcing this fight, he'd be like, 41 years of age versus 36 years of age. Cub Swanson coming in at 5'7" tall. Billy Quarantillo coming in at 5'8" tall. The weight is identical. The reach is identical. Everything else is virtually identical. God, I miss fucking Goldberg on the mic. If I'm being
legend.
I love John Anik. Please don't stop following me on Twitter. I love you and your brother. Just huge fans. But Mike paved the way, guys. Like, I love Mike. I wish we could, if we don't have John, sub Mike in. Like, tag him in, bro. Hit the fucking bell here. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, I ain't gonna lie. I love the international guys, but come on, Goldberg on the road would be fire, and then Anik at home.
You know what I'm saying? Have Anik at home.
Nothing but fastballs. Come on.
When we're going across the pond, sub the guy in. Give it to Mikey Goldberg. Let's go. Come on. And Dixon Sider here with the parlay in the chat. All right, the full parlay is Felipe Lima, Billy Q, and Alvarez sub.
That's a good one. I like that.
Solid.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's solid.
That's not bad. Yeah, I like that actually.
What are those odds?
So, okay, Felipe Lima by sub. Let's go. I'm going to tell you right now, my friend. So, Felipe Lima by sub specifically is plus 650. Billy Q by sub is plus 650. Jesus, did you do that on purpose? That's insane. And then let's see. Alvarez by sub is plus 165. You pair those to, geez, little fucking wheeze, kid. You pair those together, and you get plus 14,806. So one unit turns into 149.06.
Sheesh.
All right. Well, I'm going to do.
I like it. Oh, my God. Okay.
He's definitely doing that.
That sounds about right.
I'm just trying to decide between a fifth, a half, and a unit, you know?
It's the last one of the year, baby. Go
man.
big or go home.
I'm gonna do a unit on it. Yeah, that's happening.
I reckon you
As
should.
McLovin once said, I'm hitting that for show. I'm getting that for show. For show. Or no, it wasn't McLovin. That was the other guy. That was the main guy.
Michael Cera for show. Oh wait,
no, that was the main dude.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is he a brown belt now or purple belt now? Either way, I know he trains.
Way.
He's lost a shit ton of weight. Dude, have you seen him lately? He's lost like 80 pounds.
Yeah, real.
I mean, I know it's been an ongoing
now.
thing. Yeah, well, I got to see as of recent. I
And
know
he's actually like, I've seen like random clips that people have posted that have gone like viral or semi-viral. He's actually solid, bro. He's not terrible at all.
Oh, let's go.
Like I feel like he's not like a bad purple belt or an actor purple belt, if that makes sense.
Like
kind of like Tom Hardy.
Is he
like
like?
Tom
I was just
like
gonna say, is he in,
Tom Hardy murders people on the mat.
if he's in Tom Hardy's realm, if he's in that conversation, then I mean,
he's I don't know if he's Tom Hardy level, but he's somewhere around there.
He's not like you said, the phony that type though.
He's not
really,
the phony.
He's really rolling
Ed
around.
Bundy, from the old school sitcoms, and
The dad from Modern Family. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think he's a
He
black
has
belt.
a black belt.
I was gonna say he's a black belt.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on, I'll look it up. You guys chat about these parlays getting thrown here, and I will. Oh, here we go. Al Bundy has a Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Thanks, Lazy Bed.
Not just a black belt, but a Gracie.
Ed O'Neill.
belt.
Yeah, he's actually a beast. Like he would make you laugh, and then if you get too drunk and overstep your boundaries, he will make you cry. He's a fucking beast, bro.
Sheesh.
Folks, this is the MMAnomaly part of the show where we just kind of get sidetracked and talk about random shit.
It's that no filter, baby.
So yeah, man, give me Billy Q, Billy the Squid, as we like to call him here on the show, because when he's attacking you, it just seems like he's got multiple limbs, right? And with that being said, we move right on in to the next fight. We got to do it to him, folks. It's a welterweight main event between Colby Chaos Covington. I rolled my eyes when I said it for a reason. Versus Joaquin Buckley. Dude. No. Take the lead on this one, brother. Bring us home. Who you got, my guy?
Oh man, Country Road, take us home, baby. Yeah, you know what? This is a funny one, right? I mean, Colby Chaos Covington doing what he does best, stirring up nothing but chaos. Haven't seen him since December of last year, so it's been about a year now. Curious to know what got him out of bed. You know, why Joaquin knew Mansa Buckley was the right dance partner, but the way I see it, man, he might have caught the wrong dude at the wrong time, right? I mean, this guy, Joaquin Buckley, made himself infamous with that spinning back kick back in 2020, and has just been off to the races ever since. He's had some blemishes along the way, but he's really came into his own. 5-fight win streak. This is going to be his 4th fight this year. I mean, dude is just absolutely doing it. And the funny thing is, man, I think he can actually go out there and get it done again. The wrestling scares me a little bit, but seeing that Joaquin Buckley is the favorite, seeing that Colby's 36, and seeing that I just don't really like the guy, even though he did bring out Colby did bring out Chael Sonnen, which was an awesome little moment there. Thank you. Awesome little moment there to see, Chael have his little promo again, but that's not going to save him, right? That's all the antics outside the octagon, which is why I can at least appreciate a Colby Chaos Covington. You know, I know he'll stick around probably far too long, but hey, man, maybe we'll miss him when he's gone a little bit, right? Sometimes you need that heel. Sometimes you appreciate the guy that's a little bit brash and maybe goes a little too far, but there was once a day that he wasn't that guy. He was a nice chipper old American wrestler that did what he was told and stood in line and said sir and thank you ma'am, but now he's the brash chaos guy, and it's been a fun ride for him, but unfortunately I think the ride stops here, man. I think Joaquin Buckley's finally coming into his own. He's 30 years old. He's just about done it all, and we should have found a clip. We should have pulled up the clip of him fucking clubbing dancing at the pool party like hours before his fight. I mean, he is just notorious, just getting down, full shirtless, looking like looking like Terry Crews, and white chicks just whistling, fucking getting down. It was fantastic, man. I mean, the guy's one of one. He's gonna have a 4-inch range back to the fight. He's gonna have the youth on his side, and I think he could weather the storm, man. I think he could. It's a 5-rounder. Has Joaquin Buckley gone 5 before? Now that I'm thinking, I'm like, oh shit.
He was the main event. What was it? Where was he the main event at? Was it St. Louis?
Was it the Wonder Boy fight?
Co-main?
I think it was co-main, but I think it was still scheduled for a 5-round fight.
Okay.
I know he's been scheduled for a 5-round fight, but he's never had to go the distance. And I don't think this will be any different. Spoiler alert.
Oh, here we go. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is going to be any different, folks. I mean, I think Colby Chaos Covington has brought anything but chaos when it comes to younger fighters that are in better shape than him. And look, Joaquin Buckley put his arm around me for a picture at UFC International Fight Week last year, and that man is built like a goddamn oak, bro. Like, I just think that he is in better shape. He's also 6 years younger. And you know what? I'm going to call a spade here, right? We're going to keep it no filter, right, folks? He is 1 inch shorter than the taller man in Colby Chaos Covington. But I digress, folks. He's going to have Colby looking for that jab like, where are you? And I'm so sorry. He still has a 4-inch advantage in the fucking reach. Ape index is a real fucking thing, dude. And like, it doesn't matter how tall you are. It matters how long you are. And Joaquin Buckley has an incredible reach to height difference, if we're being completely honest here and calling a spade, which we like to do. So he's younger. He's longer by a significant amount. And he also utilizes combinations in a way that a lot of these welterweights are not doing against somebody like a Colby Covington in his last 5, 6, 7 fights. Now, I'm going to scroll back up here because Dixon said something earlier. Buckley KO 2-3-4 combo. Handshake emoji. I'm with you there, bro. The 2-3-4 is going to be nasty. And the range in which he's going to be able to throw it from is going to be something to behold. Because Colby's going to have to come in and really shuffle in to get into that grappling range. He's going to want to establish a dominant clinch or blast double. And when he does that, he's either going to catch an uppercut for his worries, right? Or he's going to get that clinch. And then Joaquin Buckley is so fucking strong and also long, like I mentioned numerous times, that he will be able to literally hands inside, shove off, duck his head, break that clinch, or do the simple tie clinch break, which is just jackknifing your shoulders in. We've seen him do that before in previous fights. And he will break that tie clinch fairly easily of Colby Covington, in my opinion, against the cage. Circle out, and then land that crisp 2-3-4 combo. I can also see him do a lot with uppercuts in this fight. Again, Colby's going to look to shoot in early and often. And if he does that, Colby has very fast feet. If he takes that quick back step and hits him with the rear uppercut, I think it could just be money and lights the fuck out for the champ here, or the former wannabe champ, I should say, in Colby Covington. And also Donald Trump's former favorite fighter. Isn't Khabib his favorite fighter these days? Either way, I'm going to pass it to the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the biggest biceps I've ever seen on a podcast. Crossover, tell us who you have winning, and tell me why it's Joaquin Buckley.
Well, I mean, you are right. I definitely have Joaquin Buckley in this. For me, Colby Covington has one win over anyone in the UFC, and that guy is RDA, who may not fight again after that injury he just suffered. Colby hasn't fought in a year, and actually I was at his last fight against Leon Edwards at UFC 296, and I mean, Colby looked like a shell of himself. Like, we didn't see that pressure, that pace, any of the wrestling. And then we go over and look over to Buckley. We all forget Buckley used to fight at middleweight and is fighting at welterweight now. So, I mean, he's 5-0 since fighting at welterweight. The guy's got all this momentum, just has looked it looked like his game has gotten better in each of his last few fights, and I think it's just time for some new blood at welterweight. And Kobe, with the inactivity and him not looking the same, I just think it's the time for Joaquin Buckley.
I completely agree. Jumping in the chat real quick, Sav posted a clown emoji. It's either because we clowning or because we were talking about Colby Covington. Going to take the latter instead of the former there. Andrea Miani said straight fact, the Brazilian people hate Colby Covington.
Yeah,
noted.
We know. We definitely know that.
Wait, why?
We know. Not going to read that one out loud, but Lazy Bed, thanks for that. I read it right before I put it up on the screen. Thank goodness. It was up there for a half second. Sav saying Nano low-key got the moves. Nano high-key got the moves, honey.
Damn
The
straight.
Flying Kitten. I just saw Buckley 3 weeks ago. He's fucking solid. Hope I pronounced that word right. Fucking. Nope, not gonna read that one either, Dixon, but we love you, bud. Asking for a friend. I can neither confirm nor deny. The Brazilian people want Colby to fight in Rio de Janeiro. I mean, I bet you fucking do. I don't know that he makes it out of there if he does, though, and that's an issue for the UFC.
No chance.
That's probably why that
he
probably
makes it up.
won't ever happen.
But they should fight in Brazil at some point. I hope that does happen for sure.
Chaos doesn't live up to his nickname. You know, you're absolutely right, because he should be called Leos, because that's the only way he's going to win this fight is if he lays on top of Joaquin Buckley in this fight. The Flying Kitten 22 said he signed my 306 Utah hoodie. Oh, that's fucking sick, dude. That's awesome. Studio audience, but how long is he? You're not
Long
wrong.
enough.
Long enough to party. I'll tell you that. Let's not forget that Usman broke Colby's jaw. So if that fracture opens again, he could quit on the stool any round. I don't think Colby will quit on the stool, but I think there could be a doctor stoppage in there. You know, we've seen it before. Oh, wow. There you go. 3 more comments down. Or a doctor stoppage. My friend, Dixon, with the fucking money comments here. Back at you, my friend. So, with that being said, Dirty Dogs, we are going in on this one. I think Joaquin Buckley gets it done, my friends. And I know I did tell you that I was going to trail this young man Dixon's parlay. So Billy Q by sub plus 650. Felipe Lima by sub 650. Joel Alvarez by sub plus 165. But I told you I was going to take it a step further, so I did. Okay, I put a unit on that, and that's a lot. Okay, it is a lot. I'll tell you that right now. So 1 unit will get you 149.06 units. But because I'm crazy, Coco Bananas, I'm going to do it one step further here. I'm also going to put another unit on it, but I'm going to add one more leg to the parlay. We're adding a 4th leg, Dixon. You should follow me. Let's see what happens here, bud. Michael Jansen to win via knockout, TKO, or DQ. That turns the odds. Crossover. Brace yourself. I'm glad you're wearing sunglasses so we can't see your eyes react to this, man. Because it's plus 32,693. Okay, so 1 unit would get you 327.93. So if you put $1 on it, you get 327 bucks.
Doing that parlay. 100%.
I did it.
Definitely doing
it's
that
already done.
100%.
That's happened. That's something that is actually in the past because it's already taken place. Yeah, that parlay has been placed. We're doing 1 unit on that one. So, folks, we'll see you on the other side, as they say. I'm super fucking stoked about this card. I think it's going to be fantastic. We're already off to a good start. Greg Hardy got knocked out again this week. Sorry, I don't know why I had to do that.
Christmas came a little early. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
It truly does feel like that Christmas bells. It did come early, folks.
Sleigh bells ring-a-ling, jing, jing, jing.
So, folks, look, we appreciate each and every one of you. Again, as always, if you're not already subscribed, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications at the MMAnomaly show. And if you're not subscribed to Crossover MMA, the man to my right, please make sure that you do at Crossover MMA. And As always, we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. We hope that all of your best parlays and bets hit. We hope you had a great time tuning in for almost 2 hours here, folks. And as we like to say, above all else, the one thing we really, really hope that you do for us is that you keep on going and you keep on growing. Can't wait to see you next time as well, Crossover. And until then, we'll see you all then.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.